credits po.
Kaya nga po, paano kung wala po na earn? Kaya paano po kung hindi siya nag-participate sa election time na
Sir, marami po ang opportunities ng teacher para po maka-earn ng service credits. Kasi even yung attendance nila sa trainings during Saturdays, binibigyan po sila niyan ng mga service credits. Basically po, wala pong teacher na wala pong service credits po.
Pero ma'am, they really deserve sick leave. Benefits
Yes,
po yan eh.
Sir, ako po ay teacher din po. Kaya I know.
Huwag po natin yung parang pasapasahan.
Opo.
Diba? Sick leave. Ibigay sa kanila. What's
Yes.
due?
Sir, ako po ay isang teacher. Galing po ako sa baba. Teacher po ako bago po ako umakyat ng central office. Actually,
Kilala niyo ba yung superintendent nyo?
yes po.
Kamag-anak niyo po?
Hindi po.
Okay.
Sir, ay isang Sir, ako po ay isang patunay na sir, with all due respect, ako po ay isang patunay na buhay po yung merit and selection process ngayon sa panahon ni VP because ako po ay isang ordinaryong teacher, principal po. At naakyat po ako, 20 days pa lang ako sa aking position ngayon. So,
Sure, kaya wala kang kaibigan na
hindi ko po siya kilala eh.
superintendent.
Wala po.
Okay.
Andi, gusto ko lang patanong sa Deped, kung meron na ba silang pag-aaral, kung ano ba talaga yung, let's say, top 5 mental health issues ng ating mga estudyante at pati na rin ng ating mga guro. May ganong study na ba?
Senator Binay, that's actually one of our areas of concern, and that's one of the things that we will be focusing on, gathering data. Because given the lack of manpower in the field and the previous non-existence of supplementary special provision budgets exclusively for mental health, we have limited data regarding that. And moving forward, we hope to have that and establish it as a baseline so we can also monitor year on year what is the improvement when it comes to the mental health and well-being of our learners, because we do feel that there is an impact in terms of how they perform academically in terms of the absence of sufficient mental health services.
Okay. Siguro, Mr. Chairman, meron ba tayong other resource person that could provide the committee data kung ano yung top mental health issues ng ating mga kabataan ngayon?
Yeah. May I, ano po?
Yes, Dr. Hoxon.
Thank you po. Thank
Just
you
to
po.
answer the query of Senator B.
Yeah, on behalf of PGCA, maraming salamat po. No, so in the study of UP po, no, okay, that close to 1 in 5 Filipino youth aged 15 to 24 have considered ending their life. No, so this is coming from the study of the 2021 Young Adult Fertility Sexuality Study. So ibig sabihin po, imagine niyo 1 in 5 Filipino youth, no, ang meron pong suicidal thought. In the Asia-Pacific study po, ang number one problem po ng ating mga kabataan, especially the adolescents, especially in Deped, no, is what we call depression. Number 2 is anxiety disorder. And then I'm a practicing counselor din po, no, in the private school. And sa amin po, kung makikita nyo, with the thousands of students that we have, we even have an average of 250 to 300 diagnosed students. So hindi na po ito mental concern lang. Marami po talaga tayong may diagnosis. And this is definitely an integrative approach. So we need counselors for assessment and really not only a one-time, big-time na seminar po ng mga mental health programs, but really sustainable programs that are promotive, preventive, and intervention. And kasama ko po yung ating Philippine Psychological Association. Kaya po hinahanap din po namin yung referral system. Kasi po dito sa Pilipinas, we only have 500 psychiatrists in the country. So imagine that. We have 4,000 plus no, na licensed counselor. And then ang psychologist po ay iilan lang din. No? 1,500, and then the psychiatrists are 500. So ngayon po, kung tinatanong kanina, no, yung regarding po dun sa bakit walang mga counselors, mataas ang qualification, mababa ang sweldo. In the ASEAN Qualifications Framework, at meron din po kaming ASEAN Counseling Network, ang isa pong minimum requirement po ng counselor, even Indonesians, even Singaporeans, or MA po, no? Kasi po, in the ASEAN Qualifications Framework, ay level 7. And in the Philippine Qualifications Framework, so in the internationalization requirement that we have, isa pong counselor ay yung mahawak no, ng buhay ng isang tao. At nung ako po ay 19 years old, ako po ay nag-graduate ng 19 years old, nandito po yung boss ko, no? So 19 po ako, no, counselor ako. Imagine that, ang isang subject ko lang ay isang guidance and counseling sa bachelor's degree in psychology at si Dr. Vance ang professor ko. Isa lang po ang subject ko sa guidance and counseling. Imagine that, no? I was assigned in one of the biggest universities in the country. Imagine na umarap sa amin ay puro suicidal. And I was assigned in one of the difficult, no, programs that we have in the arts and philosophy. So napakarami po talaga. So imagine na kailangan po natin ng technicalities, ng competencies ng isang mature na counselor to really handle life at hindi pwedeng makipagkabangkadahan lang. Nandito na rin po ang Deped, ang DBM. Maraming salamat po and all our senators. Na nag-a-apply po ako ng isang ordinaryong counselor, hindi po ordinaryo. It really entails competencies, it entails maturity, no? It even entails evidence-based programs. So yun po. So kaya po hindi po siya attractive. Kailangan mabuhay ng isang Pinoy. I'm also an ordinary counselor. And sa pribadong sektor, natutugunan ng mga pangangailangan namin. So why not in the public?
Mr. Chair, can I ask a question? This can be directed to Dr. Sheila or Dr. Nino. How would you address this rampant problem ngayon, the students na sobrang exposure nila sa social media? Marami sa mga estudyante, wala nang ginawa, hindi na kumakain, hindi na nag-aaral dahil nalulong na sa social media o dili kaya yung sa video gaming. Yun po isa sa mga dahilan kung bakit marami mga estudyante naging suicidal, nadidepress. How would you address this?
Yeah, actually po, ang ginagawa po namin is nagkakaroon kami ng needs assessment and even environmental scanning, and we have psychological testing. Yan po yung competencies ng mga counselors. At kapag nakita po namin yung pangangailangan ng mga tao, di-design po kami based on the gap, no, ng mga implication program, kung ano po yung mga senyales. And of course, definitely, we have a very active partnership with the family. Okay? Sa pag-prevent po ng mga problemang ito, because we all know that internet addiction, gaming addiction was declared in 2018 by the WHO as a mental health disorder. So ito po ay parang nag-aalaga ka rin ng isang drug addict. Kaya seryoso po ang mga problema ng mga bata sa ating mga eskwelahan at sa ating komunidad.
Okay, what happens if the student hindi siya nakikinig doon sa kanyang mga magulang? Pinapayuhan siya na huwag ka na maglaro ng video game, pumasok ka na pero nagtatrang ka sa kwarto, ay na lumabas. So, anong klaseng approach po ang
So, ang ginagawa po namin is, of course, nire-refer po ng mga magulang yan, kina-counsel po namin at nagkakaroon kami ng psychological assessment. And we are very fortunate in our university. I came from a private school na meron po kaming psychology clinic. So after the assessment, if there are high risk, meron po kaming libre na psychology clinic sa loob at sila po ay nagkakaroon ng psychotherapy. At kung ito naman po talaga ay kailangan ng tugon ng pharmacology or ng gamot, meron po kaming mga accredited psychiatrists at partner psychiatrists. Kaya po, malaki po ang role ng guidance counselor, partnership with the psychometrician, with the psychologist, and even our psychiatrists. At natutugunan po yan sa pribadong eskwelahan.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Senator Binay, go ahead.
Siguro maganda din malaman magkano ho ba yung sweldo sa private schools compared to public schools ng ating mga guidance counselor.
Yeah, actually po, sa amin po, no, in one of the private universities, kami po ay rumarango depende po kasi sa ranking yan. So, ang minimum requirement po namin is master's degree and 3 years of experience. So, kami po ay pumapatak usually ng mga 30 to 35,000 at pwede pong mag-start ang isang licensed counselor ng 70,000 to 80,000 dito po sa Pilipinas.
And ano ho yung position nyo dun?
Okay.
Ano yung position nyo dun sa plano ng DepEd na para mag-hire?
Sa akin, kulang pa rin.
Ito po, nandito po yung aking Vice President, Senator. At nandito po yung proposal namin at nag-submit din po kami. So nandiyan po si Sir Francis. So, pwede po bang mabigyan siya ng pagkakataon na ilagay po yung bullet lang po ng mga proposal namin. Maikling-maikli lang po siya. Pati po yung sa salary grade, no?
Sige po, go ahead.
Thank you.
Senator,
Sir Francis, siya po yung vice president namin.
Sir Francis, saan ba siya?
Subok.
Sa baba, ito.
There, Subong. Go ahead.
Ayan. So kindly summarize lang, Sir Francis.
Yes, siguro ito po yung let me share my screen po. Ayan. Okay. Sorry, we have prepared we have prepared actually a comprehensive discussion, but siguro to answer the concerns ng guidance counselors, ito po yung tatlong points na dapat makita natin sa hearing na ito. First is the career development and progression. The structure follows function and identity of the professional guidance counselor. So, kanina, I think na-discuss naman it's an attractive. Wala po tayo sa posisyon kanina, sabi ni Asek Dexter is that kulang po ng human resources sa field, which is correct. However, even though nakulang tayo, I think it's how about utilization?
Salamat.
So data, if natap lang po sana yung ating guidance counselors, especially with the previous leadership, I think we can gather data. Ito po yung usual kasi with the Deped and even with the SUCs. Ito lang po yung in-offer or ito po yung fina-follow natin sa Deped. So the guidance counselor items, which is salary grade 11, 12, 13. However, if we stick on the book with the DBM, hindi po tayo makaka-create ng guidance coordinator item if wala tayong 7 guidance counselors under sakay coordinator. Now, upon sa aming re-research, the root causes ng problemang ito, especially sa DepEd, they are problema din sila because from the DBM side, we still have this old 1997 DEX DBM organizational and staffing standards. And we have the 2007 DBM position classification manual, which
Kasi
yung
meron namang
pagtingin sa
coordinator.
guidance
Meron
counselors
namang
are
coordinator
still
nga.
part of teaching
Kaya lang
and
kailangan
hindi
natin
po
ito
updated
para
yung
maging
kanilang
coordinator.
manual, even though in 2004 nag-create or na-enact po ang RA 9258. If you could see po, yung hinihingi ni guidance counselor is career progression. Salary is there, but we need career progression. If you could see among professions in education settings, hanggang SG16 lang by paper, but in reality, hanggang SG13 lang yung mararating ng isang guidance counselor. Also, to be ako po ay isang DepEd teacher po. Nasa DepEd po ako, even though I'm the vice president. I'm on leave. I'm a master teacher 1. One of my reasons bakit ako nag-shift into teaching position is that I don't have career progression. And it's very ironic na yung guidance counselor is a career specialist and mental health professionals but walang career progression.
Yeah, totoo.
If tingnan natin
Yan yung psychomet
yung guidance counselors, ibangga natin with other professions, with master's degree education equivalent, ito po. Kasama po namin dyan yung psychologists.
Dapat
Yung
sa
ating
ibang sa medical officer
AFP,
tsaka
actually,
lawyer. Kasi
they're
master's
posting
degree
the
sila.
hiring of psychologists, but
Kaya
it's
we are
only
starting
psychologist
on
1.
SG16
So hanggang
namin.
psychologist 3 sila. So walang career progression for guidance counselors and even for psychologists. Now, what we are asking actually is we shift from guidance counselor items to to guidance services specialists.
Specialist, yeah.
Ang DepEd po noong 2001 ay nagpadala po ng request sa DBM na i-abolish and i-convert yung lahat na guidance counselor items into guidance services specialists.
Yeah, kasi
And the
yung kasi
DBM replied
guidance
in,
GSS
I
kasi
think, June
sila.
of 2022, denying the request of DepEd um, on that. So ito po yung hinihingi namin. Because these guidance services specialist items
Yan,
do
oo, yan.
exist.
Kaya hindi
Nandyan po
namin
siya sa
ina-agree tong
DBM
bill na ito.
iOS. Ito po ang fina-follow or merong items tayo in the UP system, the MSU, University of Makati, Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila, the Philippine High School for the Arts, the
Yes,
NIS,
may
even
GSS
the central
tayo.
office. Then we have actually a case in Region 7 way back in 2015 or 16 na then RD Heruta nag-request po sa DBM Region 7 to convert I think 2 or 3 guidance counselor items into guidance services specialist. So it happens or it happened. So for the past years yun po yung tinitingnan namin bakit hindi ma-implement via administrative action. Actually, yun po yung hinihingi namin. So right now with yung sinasabi ni Doc Sheikh, we are proposing actually to maipantay, for example, yung guidance counselor. Sa side po ng ating mga psychologists, I think they could speak for themselves. But with the initial plan, especially in SB 379, and titingnan din natin yung parallel version in the in the House, which I hope later this afternoon will be approved on the third reading. In the House version, actually, the provision there is yung psychologist also will start as SG16. Now, actually, what we are begging also and for consideration ng ating Senate is mapantay din po na yung entry level both of guidance counselors and ating psychologists will start at SG16. But for the side of guidance counselors, we are proposing from within the guidance services specialist, ito po yung new track because we have to consider the specialization, we have to consider the complexity of concerns ng ating clients. Of course, some of the counselors are already having their PhDs and the research and of course, again, the specialization. May I forward, ito po yung sinasabi ko kanina na letter request of Deped to DBM. So it was sent po ng ating Deped. Kumbaga, naniwala na sila and they've seen the importance of guidance counselor. That is why they have sent a letter. But the buck, I think, stops with the DBM, why they have returned and in a sense parang hindi yung request ng DBM, ng DepEd. I think I'm done with my presentation po, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. I know a lot of our source persons are raising their hands. Before we continue, let me ask Sen.Binay if she has any follow-up questions.
Mr. Chair, siguro maganda kasi 'di ba meron siyang mga sinight na mga schools. Doon sa mga schools na to, filled up kaya yung positions for guidance?
Lately po, sa pagre-research ko via the CSC job opportunities website, actually wala nang guidance services specialist po, Senator. I think it's filled up agad-agad because it's of the higher salary grade compared with the guidance counselor 1 or 2. If we look sa CSC website, yung natira ngayon is the guidance services associate, which is a lower item, which is nandyan po sa ating Philippine Science High School. I've heard sa mga kasamahan namin sa Philippine Science High School, they are also looking into na ma-upgrade yung kanilang positions from the associate to specialist na.
Okay, thank you. Siguro, Mr. Chairman, baka kahit wala pang committee report, yung Committee on Basic Ed, baka the committee can write DBM to support yung ganitong changes dun sa classification ng ating guidance counselors. Yan lang po, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Binay. Senator Rafi, any question?
Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Binay, Senator Rafi. We'll take note of your suggestion. In fact, Senator Binay is correct, no? There are low-hanging fruits that we can already implement. And kung ayaw ho talaga ng DBM, alam ko, best friend ho yan ni Senator Rafi, ang DBM. We will implement by law. No? Because if it's by law, then no choice sila. They have to implement it. No? So, but we need to discuss that in the hearing, no, so that we can rationalize our recommendation, especially through the committee report on why we increase the salary grades, come up with a career progression. I'm actually conferring with my staff if it's wise to come up with a legislated career progression. Ang maganda doon, if it's legislated, then they'll implement it. The downside is you cannot change it. No? So there's also pros and cons. So we have to study that carefully. But we can always put the starting point. I've seen that in many laws. Yung minimum standard nandoon, and we leave Deped to come up with a career progression. No? We authorize them or we mandate them to come up with a career progression. So it's flexible. No? Because in the future, you might, kagaya ng teacher, is it teacher 4? No? Diba yung teacher 4, it was newly created. No? Teacher 4, 5, 6. No? So it's all administrative creation. It's not by law. But the point there, it's the flexibility is there. If you want to create teacher 7, teacher 8, bahala na kayo depending on what you see. No? So that's the essence of giving the Deped that flexibility to create other positions. So that's another option that we're thinking. But the starting point, we can put the starting point na. No?
Okay. Yeah. Mr. Chair, huli na lamang. Pwede ba akong mag-request, Mr. Chair, maybe from ASEC Galban or Director Osayas, doon po sa MOOE, magkano ba ang natatanggap na MOOE ng isang eskwelahan? At kung masagot niyo po sa akin yan, may nasabi kayong amount, then I want you to submit to us, to this committee, documents na talagang natanggap ng eskwela na yun, yung MOE. It was received properly and it should be signed by whoever in that school who received the MOE. Kasi more often than not, hindi po nila tatanggap talaga. Totoo po yan. Yan talaga ang palaging problema ng mga guro, Mr. Chair. Hindi natatanggap dahil may nagbubulsa sa DepEd. Si superintendent nambubulsa. Si principal nambubulsa. Pagdating kay guro, wala na. So, kailangan po ma-address yan. So, can you show us documents na para masiguro na tatanggap yung MOE ng ating mga guro? Magkano ba yung MOE? Magbigay ko kayo ng example sa isang eskwelahan. Magkano ba? Does it cover really yung pangangailangan para sa maintenance, janitorial, security, bili po ng mga improvements sa school? How much po? Do you know, ASEC Galban? O siguro si Dr. Nanet, siguro sabi mo dati kang guro. Do you know? Siguro kayo pa may experience kayo na hindi nyo natanggap yung MOE, ano? Na binusa.
Natanggap ko po.
Swerte nyo, swerte po kayo.
Ang formula po kasi sir ay na multiply yan sa number of learners and teachers. Wala po akong saktong figure na alam ngayon, pero doon na determine kung magkano ang ida-download na pera ng DepEd sa mga schools for the MOOE. Enough to cover utilities and other operating expenses.
So yung computation sa number of students
Yes.
and then the size of the school.
Yes.
But the teachers inform about that? Are they well informed na because you have this such number of students in your school and ito yung laki ng inyong eskwelahan, kaya ito yung MOE niya. Dapat lahat ng guro alam yan.
Yes po.
Para pagdating sa oras na nagkulang, sasabihin ng mga guro kay principal, kay superintendent, hey, at sabi rito, ang MOE namin dapat namin halimbawa 100,000, dahil natanggap lang pala 50,000, nasaan yung 50? So meron silang pwedeng babalikan.
Meron po, sir. Aware. I can only speak for my school before.
Aware.
Yeah, aware. And then, kasama po yung mga guro sa pag-prepare ng work and financial plan for the school. That's why alam nila kung saan mapupunta yung mga MOOE na nare-receive nila po.
Kasi alam mo, Asik Galban, sa maraming pagkakataon na hindi po nabibigay yung MOE, yung mga teachers pumupunta po sa LGU. Pumunta sa LGU, nagkakautang na loob yung mga teachers doon sa mga local government officials. At pagdating ng eleksyon, bayad utang, siguro, God knows kung ano niya pwedeng gawin para matulungan, mabayaran yung utang na loob kay politician. But anyway, that's besides the point. Yung sa akin, dapat mabigay po talaga yung MOE. Halimbawa sa janitorial, security, di ba meron po yan? Eh bakit po yung mga estudyante ang nagbabayad? Sinisingil po sa mga estudyante. Yung mga estudyante pupunta po sa akin. Yung pambili ng chalk, eraser. Di po ba? Electric fan. Yan, yung walang kamatayang electric fan. Every year humingi po ng budget para sa electric fan yung mga guro. Sa PTA, please, usapin niyo po yung, kasi ang nangyayari po, Mr. Chair, sasabihin lang ng guro na it was authorized by the PTA. Wala kaming kinalaman yan. Hugas kamay, mga guro. PTA. Yung presidente ng PTA planted. Hindi ko yung masisising guro. Bakit nagawa nila yun? Eh dahil nga wala silang MOE. So, para-paraan lang yan. Dumidiskarte yung mga guro. It goes back again to corruption sa level ng Deped at sa mga superintendent. Di po ba? Sometimes the principal. Pasintabi po sa mga superintendent principal, pero I'm talking about what is really happening right now. What do you say? What can you say, Asek Galban, tungkol doon sa MOE na hindi natatanggap at kinakarga po sa mga estudyante ng mga guro kasi hindi natanggap yung MOE para sa kanilang paaralan? Ano pong reaction yun, Asek Galban?
Senator, I believe that is an area of concern. Particularly, the department will definitely exert effort to ensure that the MOE that is due to the school is provided, and we will be taking note of your request and will be requesting the finance strand and possibly with the assistance of our human resources strand to furnish you with a report with reference to the distribution, the downloading of the MOE.
Okay, please investigate, Mr. Galban, and then I need to know kung meron na bang na huli ninyo at nakasuhan because it's been going on for a long, long time, yung hindi pagbigay ng MOE. Gusto ko po dapat meron na kayo na sampulan kasi very rampant po yan. Kasi pag hindi po rampant yan, hindi na sana request ng mga guro, mga estudyante na mag-contribute. Kasi kung minsan, nakakaya naman yung mga estudyante, hindi sila makapag-exam hanggang hindi nakapagbigay ng contribution na sinet ng TA na nasa likod ay mga guro din. Na dahil yung mga guro, hindi nakatanggap ng MOE. So, pag again to the Deped, lahat talaga Deped. Diba? At to think na kayang may pinakamalaking budget. So, wala akong problema na kayo po magkaroon ng malaking budget kasi kailangan talaga yan para sa edukasyon ng ating mga kabataan. Pero take good care of that money. So again, wala ko kayong alam. Imbestigan nyo palaman po. How long have you been with Deped, sir?
Roughly 6 months, sir.
Exempted na naman to.
Commissioner, sorry.
Thank you, Senator. Magandang umaga po, Senator Binay, Senator Tulfo. Chair, I'd just like to address first some issues raised by the other attendees po, no? Thank you, Sir Francis Ray of PGCA. Tama ho yung sinasabi niya, Chair. It's high time, we have raised this as well in other committee hearings, it's high time that we review the Index of Occupational Services or the IOS. Meron pa rin ho tayong bookbinder ngayon, meron na ho tayong Cybercrime Act, pero wala ho tayong Cybersecurity Officer. I think it's high time that we review the IOS in consideration po sa proposal ng PGCA. Regarding the Merit Selection Plan or the MSP mentioned by the Deped, may comments po ang CSE-NCR, you might want to coordinate with CSE-NCR. As for the sick leave po na raised po ni Senator Tulfo, in-house bill po filed by Congressman Castro in 2020, the Civil Service Commission has submitted our position paper supporting the grant of special leave po sa mga teachers. Now going back to the topic at hand, which is Senate Bill 379, Actually, Senator, nagpapasalamat ako for this initiative. PRC has invited us on several occasions to discuss a similar situation, which was raised by kanina po by Sir Francis, yung mga psychologists po, for the entire bureaucracy naman po, not only for education. But we welcome this initiative. We confirm po the low entry for the salary grade, for the entry level of salary grade 11, which even requires a masteral degree. To confirm this position of guidance counselor, as confirmed by Job Street a few minutes ago, nasa top 5 po ang listahan, ang position ng guidance counselor that needs to be filled up by the government. Wala hong takers. Every year we have a government online career fair. Yun ho ang maraming lumalabas na kinakailangan hong i-fill up pero wala hong takers dahil ho mababa yung sweldo. Sa amin ho, we consider this as a dearth position or mahirap hanapin kasi walang nag-a-apply. Para mas maintindihan ho ng mga kasamahan natin, kung may sakit ho sa ulo, you take a certain tablet. Kung masakit yung tiyan mo, may gamot. But for mental health, it's another concern. Hindi ho natin nakikita kaagad, but there are red flags. Who assesses the red flags? The timely assessment, the evaluation, who sees them? In CSE, Chair, we have generic positions that covers admin tasks. So example, if you give a certain title, it covers certain tasks. So what I see in a quick brief reading po nung SB 379, there is a generic position which is the guidance associate, which is somehow similar to a generic position kasi marami siyang mga at iba-ibang facets po, no? But I'd like to raise po, no, Chair, if we want to immediately remedy this, may batas ho na Republic Act 10533, an act enhancing the Philippine basic education system by strengthening its curriculum and increasing the number of years for basic education, which is known as the K-12 or Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. We are constrained, CSE is constrained to, unfortunately, we do not approve temporary appointments kasi pwede ho kami mag-grant ng temporary appointment. Ano ho ang temporary appointment? Ang temporary appointment ay binibigay sa teachers kasi kulang po ho ang kanilang eligibility. So may period ho sila na binibigay and pero ho ang appointments dito ng teachers ay under this law, pwede po if unlicensed, kahit unlicensed po sila. So automatic, the appointments for the guidance counselors will be disapproved by our field offices because the grant of allowing to hire teachers na unlicensed is not given to Section 9 of RA 10533. Chair, I raised this to Attorney Cajenta a few minutes ago. To immediately address this concern, we would like to put forward this proposal for the consideration of the committee. As we consider this matter as very important, time is of the essence. After discussing with our policy office, Congress can immediately remedy this by aligning sections 8 and 9 po, Chair, allowing the hiring of non-licensed GC in the absence of registered and qualified guidance counselor under RA 10533 and give them like what we gave the teachers 5 years po ang nakalagay dito, 5 years to comply with their license. So if we were to read section 8 of 10533, hiring of graduates of science, mathematics, statistics, engineering, and other specialists in subjects with a shortage of applicants. Dito ho, allowed to hire. But if you read, due to Section 8, allowed po kami, CSE, to issue provisional appointments and CSE to teachers for 5 years. Pero sa Section 9 po, Chair, wala ho yung provision to hire. Ang nakalagay ho sa Section 9, career guidance and counseling advocacy. To properly guide the students in choosing the career tracks that they intend to pursue, the Deped, in coordination with DOLE, the TESDA, and the CHED, shall regularly conduct career advocacy activities for second-level students and shall be allowed to conduct career advocacy activities. Allowed lang po to conduct, but there is no hiring po allowed for unlicensed for dearth positions. If you put this express authority to hire similar with Section 8 due to dearth positions or lack of positions and put a period na dapat hong mag-comply sila, this can somehow immediately address what we are experiencing now, Chair, that you would like to institutionalize through your 379 Senate bill. So, para ho tuloy-tuloy pa rin sana ang counseling natin sa public schools. We would like to put forward din po that I was informed by our head of policy. At that time, the sitting chair sa PRC po went to our office, and then spoke about itong concern nila sa guidance counselors. And they were somehow willing also to relax the application, pero batas nga ho, so we cannot do it on our end, Chair. But if you will align sections 8 and 9 of 10533, then we can immediately address it now and then move forward with 379, your Senate bill po. Magandang umaga po.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm looking at the law. The context here is it's career for career guidance. So we'll try to harmonize this with our proposed measure. Because in the proposed measure, it's explicit that we can hire guidance associates, and guidance associates are those who are not registered and licensed. No, so we're creating a new position to that effect. No, without diminishing, of course, the practice of guidance counselors. No, so but we will get some feedback from our resource persons on that matter. To Attorney Manawag, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Okay, Mr. Chair, good afternoon, Mr. Chair, and to the honorable senators, Tulfo and Senator Binay, and to the other resource speakers present today. Mr. Chair, I would just like to manifest our support to the bill, especially its intention in that it seeks to address the mental health issues of students and school personnel in both public and private schools. On the part of the private schools, we also have mental health or guidance services that we offer. In fact, this is also one of the factors or services that Deped looks into when private schools renew their permits or apply for recognition. And we believe this bill will help address the shortage of guidance counselors in our school, and in turn help improve mental health services for our students, teachers, and other school personnel. On that note, Mr. Chair, I would like to share some comments and observations on the bill for your consideration, if I may.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, in the creation or establishment of the center, we anticipate that there will be, of course, certain standards or requirements that must be met. Perhaps we can explore including a provision that will ensure that these requirements or standards will be the same for both the public and private schools, and that the same requirements and standards be applied uniformly. Second, Mr. Chair, on the qualification and functions of our guidance counselors or associates in their hiring and deployment, Mr. Chair, to my understanding, the bill also allows the engagement of other mental health professionals like psychologists or psychometricians. So this is in addition to our guidance counselors and associates. Perhaps we would like to suggest that an alternative term be used for the word hire, since it gives an impression of an automatic existence of employer-employee relationship. Just for your information, Mr. Chair, and to the committee, at the moment, we also, the private schools or the private education sector also have or is experiencing the same difficulties in recruiting licensed and qualified guidance counselors and professionals. So in order to continue mental health and guidance services, and in view of the shortage at the moment, some or most of our private schools engage the services of other medical or mental health professionals on a consultancy basis. So perhaps we can consider this kind of arrangement as well. Also, we can perhaps explore provision recognizing the the management prerogative of our employers in hiring and determining the duties and functions of the guidance counselors and associates and similar professions. On a last note, Mr. Chair, on the salary benefit and other benefits and incentives like the scholarship and continuing education and training, of course, we laud these efforts that seek to improve their working conditions. That said, Mr. Chair, perhaps we can explore as well extending the similar incentives or financial support to the private education sector. Private schools, especially our small schools po, no, will really have difficulty competing with the benefits that are offered or the salaries offered by Deped, since we rely on tuition for our services. And as mentioned earlier, private schools are already having difficulty recruiting and retaining guidance counselors. After all, Mr. Chair, our private schools also want to help in addressing the issues that this bill seeks to address as well. So perhaps we can explore extending these financial support and incentives to them, considering also that this may entail some costs on the part of private schools as they may need to establish or reorganize their guidance offices and programs. On that note, Mr. Chair, we will just submit our position paper for our extensive discussion on these points for your consideration, of course, Mr. Chair. Thank you.